They say talent is everything. But what if it's not? What if success has less to do with what you're born with, and more to do with how hard you're willing to work? You don't need talent to succeed, you need drive, consistency, and the courage to keep going when it gets tough. Why you don't need talent to succeed? What if I told you that talent is one of the most overhyped qualities in the world? That the people who actually make it to the top aren't necessarily the smartest, the fastest, or the most naturally gifted? Because when you look closely, the truth becomes obvious. Success doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to those who refuse to quit. It belongs to those who are willing to outwork the odds, to endure failure after failure, and to keep going when most people would walk away. That means success is still available to you. You don't have to wait to be chosen or discover some hidden talent. You just need to make a decision to get started, a decision to stick with it, and a decision to become unstoppable. Because in the real world, commitment beats talent every single time. We've been sold a lie for most of our lives, that talent is the deciding factor between success and failure. Society tells us that unless we're born with some exceptional gift, we'll never reach the heights we dream of. But nothing could be further from the truth. The reality is that most successful people didn't start with extraordinary abilities. They started with a burning desire to improve and a refusal to give up. This mindset of persistence is the real key to success, and it's available to anyone willing to put in the work. The lie of natural talent. From the time we're kids, we hear stories about people who are naturally gifted. The pianist who started playing at 4. The athlete who was always the fastest in school. The math whiz who could solve equations before most kids learned multiplication. And so we internalize this idea that unless we were born great, we'll never be great. But that's a lie. A damaging, limiting, toxic lie. Because when you dig deeper into any story of greatness, you find the same thing. Thousands of hours of unseen work. Repetition. Frustration. Failure. Persistence. Talent might make something easier at first, but it doesn't last if it's not backed by effort. And effort is something anyone can give. That means the door is open wider than we think. It means talent is optional. Think about the greatest performers in the world. Whether it's athletes, musicians, entrepreneurs, or scientists. While they may have had a natural inclination toward their craft, what truly set them apart wasn't their innate ability, it was their relentless pursuit of mastery. They didn't wait for things to come easily. They worked at their craft every day, often for years, making incremental improvements. They turned their passion into progress. So, stop waiting for talent to strike. Instead, start working and let the results speak for themselves. Hard work outlasts talent every time. Talent can give you a head start, but it doesn't guarantee you'll finish the race. The world is full of people with incredible potential who never did anything with it. Because they relied on talent instead of building discipline. Because they expected their natural skills to carry them through, and when things got hard, they gave up. Meanwhile, the people who lacked obvious ability just kept grinding. They showed up on the bad days. They practiced when no one else was watching. They made the choice to improve just a little every single day. And over time, they caught up. Then they passed the talented. Because effort compounds. Consistency compounds. Grit compounds. You don't need talent when you have that. It's the quiet, everyday effort that wins in the long term. When you focus on continuous improvement and resilience, you develop an internal strength that no external factor can replace. Over time, the small efforts you put in add up to something significant. Talent can only take you so far, but consistency and determination will take you beyond the limits that talent sets. What really builds success? So if talent isn't the answer, what is? What actually creates long-term success? It's not a single quality, it's a collection of mindsets and habits. Discipline, consistency, resilience, focus. The ability to delay gratification and do the work even when there are no instant rewards. The truth is, success is built in the moments that feel boring. The early mornings, the late nights, the repetitions, the corrections, the choices that no one claps for. These are the moments that forge greatness. Not talent, not luck. Just steady, determined effort. That's what separates those who dream from those who do. That's what turns average into excellent. It's also about how you view setbacks. Successful people don't let failure define them. They use failure as feedback, not as a reason to quit. They understand that mistakes are part of the process and that every misstep is an opportunity to improve. By staying focused and committed, even when things aren't going perfectly, you build the kind of resilience that turns short-term frustration into long-term success. You don't need permission to begin. One of the biggest mental traps is believing you need permission to start. That you need to be qualified before you try. That you need to feel confident before you act. But that's not how real growth works. You don't become capable and then begin. You begin and then you become capable. You build skill through repetition. You build confidence through action. You build momentum by moving forward, even when it feels awkward or imperfect. Waiting to feel talented or ready is just fear in disguise. So drop the excuses. Stop waiting. No one is going to show up and tell you you're worthy. You have to choose that for yourself. And when you do, everything starts to shift. This shift in mindset is powerful. Instead of letting uncertainty or the idea of perfection hold you back, you take the first step, even when the path seems unclear. Every successful person has started with the same challenge, the unknown. But by taking action, no matter how small, they began to build the path as they walked it. And so can you. Grit is greater than genius. Angela Duckworth's research on grit says it all. Passion and perseverance for long-term goals predict success more than raw intelligence or talent, because grit keeps you going when things get hard. When you get rejected. When you mess up. When nothing seems to be working. Grit means you get back up. You learn. You adapt. You push through. It's a muscle that anyone can develop. And unlike talent, grit doesn't run out. It gets stronger the more you use it. That's the mindset that creates champions. That's what gets people across the finish line. Not being born with an advantage, but choosing to outlast the struggle. This is where talent falls short. Talent doesn't teach you how to endure through adversity. It doesn't teach you how to keep going when everything seems impossible. But grit does. It's the relentless drive that powers you forward, even when the odds are stacked against you. So don't worry about whether or not you're naturally talented. Focus on building your grit, because that's what will carry you through when talent runs dry. Failure is a tool, not a sign. Too many people treat failure like it's a stop sign. Like it means, this isn't for you. But failure is actually the training ground of greatness. Every mistake is feedback. Every setback is a lesson. Every stumble teaches you how to walk stronger next time. The people who win aren't the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who learn to use it. They take the hit, adjust, and keep going. They don't let embarrassment or fear dictate their pace. Because they know that falling down isn't the end, staying down is. So instead of asking, what if I fail? Ask, what will I learn when I do? Because that's how you get better. That's how you build real skill. Embrace failure. Don't fear it. Understand that it's part of the process. Without failure, success would have no meaning. It's the contrast that makes winning feel so rewarding. Every time you fail, you're one step closer to the breakthrough you need to succeed. That's the secret to mastering anything, to persist through failure, knowing that it's just one more lesson on the way to your goal. Success is built on small actions, not big breaks. One of the biggest myths surrounding success is that it's a result of a big break, a single moment of luck, or a sudden opportunity that changes everything. While that might sound exciting, it's simply not true for most successful people. Real success comes from consistently showing up, day after day, regardless of whether or not you feel like it. It's the willingness to keep going when no one is cheering you on. The small, seemingly insignificant actions you take every single day are what compound into the kind of success that can transform your life. In fact, most of the time, the big breaks you see in others' lives are the result of years of work that led to that one opportunity. That's why relying on talent or waiting for luck is a recipe for disappointment. If you want success, focus on the small, repeated actions. Over time, those actions will lead to massive results. Talent fades. Effort lasts. Keep showing up, keep growing, and prove that you don't need to be born great to do something great. This was Why You Don't Need Talent to Succeed. Now go create your own path.